Welcome back. This is lesson number 3, and in honor of the number 3, sounds like Sesame Street, doesn't it? We're going to be looking at triplets. We're also going to be learning the flam and the slap tone. Oh my God, there's so much good stuff. I'm so excited. This is a packed lesson right here. All right, so flam, slap, triplets. We're going to combine all that stuff, and we're going to review some of the things from the first 2 lessons. So what is a flam? No, it's not a Mexican dessert. That's a flam. Flan. A flam is a rudiment. It's one of our core drumming techniques, or it's a rudiment, really. It's really a musical figure. Right? It's not a technique because you can play flams different ways. It's about the effect. And what is the effect is 2 notes very close together that are essentially on the same beat but take up a little more space. And you can think of them as like seeing double. It's like seeing double. You're not seeing 2 things, or I just said seeing double. It's like seeing blurry, like slightly out of focus, you know, like 2 things that are. You see one thing, and then you see like just a little, not 2, not 2 separate things, just a little. So instead of, you hear, right? It's just a little crunchy. It's like if the note just, I don't know, the note arrived late and it slammed into the door. All right, so how do we do that? We play our main note. And your main note can be right or left-handed. You know, like if you're doing a right-hand flam, you're going to play the grace note, let's call it, or the lower note, the flam note, in your left. So the main note is in my right. Or you can do it the other way. Now, the key to playing, I think, an effective flam is understanding the context and what is appropriate and usual. And usually, it's just like that. Now, in some cases, it could be tighter or looser. In other words, closer together, farther apart. But in general, it's going to be that. How many milliseconds is that? I don't know. Not a lot. Maybe 5. Maybe 4 or 5. So it's just like a really, really tight echo. And all you do is just play 2 notes close together. Now, I don't want to get overly complicated with it, but I would just say avoid playing, avoid making them really wide. Like that's not really a flam at that point. That just sounds sloppy. So it's, there's some variation in there. But the other thing is just listen to a lot of music, and you'll hear people playing flams. You'll see people playing flams, and you'll get a feel for, what is customary. All right, now, related to the flam and the break from the last lesson is the 3rd tone that we're going to learn, and that is the slap tone, or the highest pitch tone. The slap is a harmonic. It sounds like this. That's a slap flam. So what are we doing there? Let's take a look. And let's go back to our open tone, which was flat fingers, right? Now for the slap, basically, all you're going to do is relax. Remember last lesson we talked about holding your hand flat and using these muscles and then relaxing, and your fingers curve, right? So let's go to the overhead. Now look, open tone, fingers are together, straight, flat, right? If I relax, not only will they curve a little, they will also probably splay a little bit. They'll open out. Splay out meaning, I'm not going crazy. I'm not holding them out. I'm just letting them relax. Now my pinkies like to go out on their own. I think they're kind of independent. They're more free-spirited. But whatever, it's not about how they look. It's about how they feel and how they function. So we're going to move from this open tone to relaxing and striking the drum basically in the same place. Let's go the overhead. So open tone, slap. You see my fingers kind of loose? Open, right? Punchy, fuller, slap tone. Now, all of that being said, some players, djembe artists will change their techniques a little. They'll do the slaps. I had one teacher, and he would do his slap way out here like this on the edge, like barely any fingers. Mohammed da Costa, he played his slaps way out here. He sounded great. If I tried to do that, I would hurt myself. So there are people that will play their slaps differently, but I'm giving you the mainstream, you know, here's where you start, and then you're going to develop from there. So what do I want you to avoid doing? Let me show you. Do not try to squeeze the slap out of the drum. Sometimes I see people doing this, like, let me show you the overhead, like they're like trying to grab, or, so don't do that. Don't try to squeeze the sound out. Also, don't go way out here. That is not a slap, right? That's just an edge tone, just playing at the edge. That's another tone you could play. I mean, once you know, have some mastery and you're playing bass tone slap in the traditional way, like I said in the first lesson, you could do closed bass tones. You could do muted slaps or muted open tones. I don't care. You can do other stuff. That's fine. But right now, we're just learning the three main tones in the main way, right? We're just learning how to paint with like blue, red, yellow. That's it. That's it. And you know, from blue, red, yellow, you can make like all the colors, right? So that's kind of the same idea here. All right. So keep bouncing off the head, you know, use your bounce off, relax on the slaps. The good news about slaps is that you're basically just relaxing. And then, as we did with the bass and open tone in the last lesson, we're going to start combining those. Now, before we get to that, though, I want to talk about triplets, because triplets are exciting, and we're going to also review the break. All right, so we got a lot to do still in this lesson. So, you know, that being said, take your time between these lessons. Don't rush through this whole thing. There's a lot in each one of these lessons, and I want you to practice it. You know, take 4 or 5 days before you start going on and trying to put a lot of stuff into your pockets. You're going to get weighted down. So take your time. No rush, all right? Now, triplets are groups of threes. No kidding. But, you know, it's fun. There's a lot of djembe rhythms that are in ternary or triplet meters, like 6/8, 12/8, even 9/8, I suppose, 3/4. There's all kinds of triplet meters. The most common one in djembe music is notated usually in 6/8 or 12/8, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what you can do, just to get into triplets in an easy way, is start to do some of these fun exercises. Like, let's take bass and tones right now. So you've been practicing bass and tones, hopefully. And let's play bass tone, tone, bass tone, tone. And that's alternating hands, so right, left, right, left, right, left. Right? And that's really fun. Let's try that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's do bass, bass, tone. All right? 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. Let's do tone, tone, bass. Tone, tone, bass. Ready? 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. All right, how was that? Are you guys staying with it? So I realize that that may have been pushing you a little bit right there, and that's fine. If it is, great. So slow things down, start simply. Once you gain some mastery, which means you're comfortable, you're playing in a way that's relaxed, you're playing in a way that produces quality sounds and rhythms, like I was just doing. If you're getting close to all of those things happening, so rhythms are smooth, tones are good quality, and you are relaxed and not stressing out, that means you're comfortable. You can go on and add to the complexity, add to your task load, all right? If you're not feeling, though, at least 2 out of 3 of those things, don't add to your task. By what? By adding complexity or adding, playing it faster. In fact, do the opposite. So simplify and play slower, all right? And that's up to you. I can't tell you what that is because only you know what those things are, and you know what you feel and how it's sounding and all that. So that's your work, all right? I can't tell you how to do that. I can only give you advice and point you in a certain direction. All right, so let's combine the slap now with the open tones, and let's play the break, because usually when we play the break, remember from the last lesson, we start with a slap and then we end with slaps. So here's the break again, and you can repeat after me vocally. Let's use a click with the shake hat. Brap, beep, 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 beam, bop, bop, bop. Brap, beep, 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 beam, bop, bop, bop. One more time. Okay, so what are we doing? We're doing slap flam, and then tones, doot, 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 and then slap, slap, slap. All right, and that is the break as it is typically played. So now your homework is go listen to some recordings, watch some videos, and see players doing that and recognize that in the music. You could listen to some recordings and see, like Le Ballet Africain or any of the Ballet Joliba, any of those ballets, listen for the break and see what happens. See how they're using the break. They're probably using it for starting, they're using it for stopping, and they're using it to change dance steps and maybe cue, like here's the start of the solo, here's this section, here's that section. It's pretty much used, I mean, I don't want to say 100% of the time to cue breaks, but it might even be used to cue the cue to a larger section. Like if there's what we call a 2D section, or a section where everybody plays the same rhythm, right? Everybody's playing different rhythms, and then they play and then everybody plays, you know, and then they're into the next section, right? So sometimes it's cueing a larger break. It's used in a lot of different ways, and I think it's exciting to go listen to it in the music and hear that in action. So that's what I want you to do. Practice now your bass, tones, and slaps in combination, just like we did for the bass and the open tones. You can add slaps in now, but make sure you do them separately, then in combination with one other tone, you know, slaps and tones or slaps and basses, then add all 3 together, and you can come up with ways to do that. But practice it with a metronome or some sort of steady click, and then practice in triplet form. And you could also combine those two things. You can practice your different tones with triplets instead of with sets of 2 or 4. All right, so that's what I want you to do. There's a lot in this lesson, you guys. There's a lot to do. So I think at this point in the course, you really want to take some time and work on all the things that I've shown you so far, because that's a lot. It's a lot of material. And you don't want to speed through thinking that you're just because you're watching the next video that you're ready or you're making progress. I mean, in some cases, I don't want you moving too fast, because you're going to leave a lot of stuff on the table, and you're not going to develop in a way that I think is the best for you. So at this point, I would really dig into everything we've covered so far in these first lessons, and then reach out to me if you want an assessment. You could do that in a private lesson, for example. That's really useful, so I can see what you're doing. You can either do a Zoom lesson, or you can send me a video and I can review it and give you feedback. So if you want that, it's available. And go practice. Go have fun, and I'll see you in the next lesson.